I wasn't supposed to be there that night. The trip was a last-minute escape. No plan, no reason, just the kind of drive you take when the city feels too loud and your thoughts are louder. I packed a tent, some snacks, a flashlight, and drove west, chasing silence. I told no one where I was going, and that's probably why no one else saw what I did. It was late July, and the desert was bone-dry and breathless. I found a quiet ridge about 20 miles off the last paved road, the kind of place where GPS gives up and your phone becomes useless. Perfect. I pitched my tent, lit a small fire, and sat on a foldable chair under a dome of stars so thick it looked fake. I wasn't looking for anything out there. I just wanted to stop thinking. But the desert doesn't let you forget. It makes you remember everything. At around 11:30 p.m., I was staring up, mind half empty, when the sky twitched. That's the only way I can describe it. A star blinked and then moved. At first, I thought it was a satellite or a drone, but it didn't move like either. It glided. No trail, no sound. Just a black, perfect triangle, barely visible except for the faint glow on its three corners. It hovered, maybe 300 feet above the ground, silently cutting through the sky like it didn't belong to physics. Then it stopped, midair, dead still. I held my breath, my heartbeat in my ears. The fire crackled softly beside me, but the air felt wrong, like I had stepped outside of time. The craft, if you can call it that, pulsed once, a soft, subtle rhythm like a heartbeat. 3 lights, pulse pause, and that's when I felt it, a vibration in my chest, not sound but sensation, like I was being scanned from the inside out. I wanted to move, to grab my phone, to run, but my legs wouldn't respond. My mind said go, and my body said no. Then it shifted. The triangle rose straight up, not flew, rose, as if gravity didn't matter. No air displacement, no sound, just perfect vertical lift. It vanished into the sky in under a second, and suddenly I could move again. I collapsed to the ground, gasping, shaking. My skin felt electric. My teeth buzzed. The fire had gone out. I fumbled for my phone, but it was frozen, black screen, 80% battery, unresponsive. I looked at my watch. 11:42 p.m. Only 12 minutes had passed. It felt like an hour. I sat there, staring into the dark, not sure what I had just seen. My brain fought to explain it. Military drone, high-altitude tech hallucination. But none of it fit. That thing, it didn't move like anything made by humans. And I knew, in the deepest, coldest part of me, it wasn't from here. Still shaking, I crawled into my tent and zipped it shut. I left the flashlight on, hand gripping a multi-tool like it would help. I didn't sleep, not really. And when I opened my eyes again, I was no longer inside the tent. I was lying on my back, outside, 10 feet away, in the dirt. My flashlight was off, my gear untouched. The stars were gone. It was 4:47 a.m. I had no memory of how I got there. I checked myself. No injuries, but soreness in places that didn't make sense. Ribs, neck, lower back. Like I'd been held down. But what really made my stomach drop was what I found just a few feet from me. 3 burned, circular patches in the dirt, evenly spaced, forming a perfect triangle, still warm, the grass around them scorched. I touched the ground. It buzzed, only for a moment. Then it was gone. That's when I knew this wasn't over. The next morning, I woke up on the ground, about 10 feet from my tent. That's the first thing that told me something was wrong. I always zip up. I always sleep inside. But now I was lying outside with dirt on my clothes and a weird taste in my mouth, metallic like blood or old batteries. The fire had long gone out. My flashlight was still on, pointing toward nothing. I checked my watch. 4:38 a.m. I blinked. The last time I remembered checking the time was just after midnight. There were 4 hours missing. My body ached, especially my shoulders, ribs, and lower back. Not like bruises, but sore like I'd been restrained. My skin was cold, despite the sleeping bag being untouched. Something didn't add up. I walked the area around the tent. Nothing out of place. No tracks. No animals. No tire marks. Just stillness. But then I saw them. 3 burned circular patches in the dirt, about 10 feet apart, forming a perfect triangle. Nothing growing there. No ash, just scorched ground, as if heat had touched it without fire. That's when the panic kicked in. I packed up everything fast. I didn't even eat. I just threw it all in the car and drove, my hands trembling the entire time. I didn't stop until I reached the first gas station with people. The girl at the counter must have thought I was on drugs, wide eyes, pale, whispering to myself. She asked if I was okay. I said yeah and walked out. But I wasn't okay. That day, I went home and locked the door. I sat on the couch and didn't move for hours. What had happened in those missing hours? Had I been taken? Had I hallucinated? I started to doubt myself. Maybe it was sleepwalking. Maybe I hit my head. But the burn marks, they were real. The soreness was real. The metallic taste. The memory of that triangle. I didn't tell anyone for 3 days. Not even my brother. Then, one night, I had a dream, if you can even call it that. In the dream, I was on a metal table. Bright light above me. My arms and legs wouldn't move. My mouth couldn't open. I wasn't asleep, but I wasn't fully awake either. Figures stood over me, tall, narrow, faceless. Not aliens in the cliché way. Just shadows. Gray, sleek shapes that never blinked or moved their heads. One of them reached out and touched my forehead. And in that moment, I heard it. Not out loud, inside me. We are not done. I woke up drenched in sweat. I started researching, not on conspiracy sites. I went deep into university databases, declassified documents, podcasts, witness testimonies. And I found something terrifying. I wasn't alone. Others had seen the triangle. Others had experienced missing time. The same symptoms. The same dreamlike encounters. Even the same burn marks. One account, dated from 1992, described an almost identical experience. Desert. Triangle. Pulsing lights. Lost time. A dream of being watched by emotionless beings. That's when I stopped questioning if it happened and started asking, why me? After the dream, everything changed. I stopped sleeping properly. I'd wake up at 3:33 a.m. almost every night, the exact same time, with the sense that something had just left the room. Not someone. Something. Like a presence you can't see but still feel pressing against your chest. Electronics began acting up. My phone battery would drain to 0 while charging. The TV would turn on by itself. Lights flickered even when the power was stable. I had electricians check everything. They found nothing. Then came the marks. One morning I woke up with 3 small, perfectly round bruises on my forearm. No swelling. No pain. Just dark purple spots in a triangle pattern. They faded after 2 days, but then reappeared on the other arm a week later. And the dreams kept coming. Except they weren't just dreams. One night, I dreamt I was standing in my backyard, staring up at the stars. Everything was frozen, even the wind. I turned around, and there it was. The same black triangle, silent above me, pulsing again. Only this time, I wasn't alone. There were other people, frozen in place like statues, standing beside me in the yard. I didn't recognize them. Their faces were blurred, like memories you can't quite hold on to. Then I heard the hum again. But it wasn't from the sky. It was inside me. And with it came images. Not words. Ideas. Flashes of something I couldn't explain. A giant sphere hovering over an ocean. A forest burning under a red sky. A being made of light, reaching toward me, then vanishing. And a symbol. 3 interlocked rings with a vertical slash through them. I woke up gasping, heart pounding. I grabbed a pen and drew the symbol before I forgot it. I looked at it for a long time. And then I saw it again, on the back of a book cover the very next day in a secondhand store. That's when I knew I had to talk to someone. Not a therapist. Not a skeptic. Someone who had seen what I'd seen. I found a man online, retired Air Force, lived 2 states away. He claimed to have been involved in off-the-books recovery missions involving unidentified aerial phenomena. I messaged him. We talked on the phone. He asked me one question before anything else. Did they leave a symbol? When I described it, he went silent for almost a minute. Then he said, "You're being watched. They don't just appear once. If you've been marked, they'll come back." It sounded insane, but I believed him, especially because that night they did come back. At 2:41 a.m., I was lying in bed, eyes wide open, when my room filled with a soft blue glow. No sound, just light. I couldn't move, couldn't scream. And then, standing in the doorway, were three tall figures. Not gray, not green, not human. They didn't move like we do. Their arms hung lower, their heads tilted like machines scanning for something. One stepped forward, raised a hand. I felt heat in my skull, like a thought trying to push through bone. And then, black. I woke up on my lawn, shirtless, barefoot, my front door still locked from the inside. And in the grass next to me, that same triangle burned into the soil. After that night on the lawn, I couldn't keep quiet anymore. I needed answers, real ones. I needed to find people like me, not just scattered reports or anonymous message boards. People who had seen what I saw and who weren't afraid to speak about it. So I went digging, not in mainstream forums or UFO Twitter, but deep. Through encrypted chats, private invites, forums you can't find on Google. They call it the Whisper Network, a hidden online space where experiencers, people who've had direct contact, talk, share, and sometimes warn. I had to pass a kind of test to be let in. One mod asked me for details about the lights, the symbol, the missing time. He wanted drawings, timestamps, even GPS coordinates. I gave all. 2 days later, I got access. Inside, I found hundreds of people. Not just conspiracy theorists or tinfoil hat types. I mean doctors, engineers, pilots, veterans. People with structured, real-world lives and terrifying stories. And over again, the same patterns emerged. The black triangle, the symbol with 3 interlocked rings. Sleep paralysis at 3:33 a.m. Dreams of oceans, burning forests, and beings of light. A blue glow before encounters. And the hum, that deep, chest-rattling frequency. Some had been visited once. Others said it had been happening for decades. But one thread chilled me the most. A user posted, they don't just observe. They tag. And once you're tagged, they collect. Collect? Another member messaged me privately. Said his name was Simon. Former NASA contractor. He told me to call him. At first, I hesitated. But something told me I needed to hear what he had to say. He answered on the first ring. His voice was calm. Too calm. You've seen the symbol, he said. So did I. Back in '97, he told me his story. An encounter near White Sands, missing time, waking up with that same triangular mark burned into his back. He said he eventually left his job after too many unexplained signals started coming through deep space observatories. Signals no one at NASA wanted to talk about. They're not from here, he said, but they're not aliens either. Not in the way we understand. I asked, then what are they? His answer chilled me. Invasive intelligence. Observers. Architects. Not beings, systems. That word stayed with me. Systems. Not creatures. Not life forms. Something else. Something constructed. Designed. Later, I asked the Whisper Network what they thought the symbol meant. One answer stood out. A calibration key. Like a lock you imprint into someone's mind. Once it's there, they can always find you. I started seeing the symbol everywhere, in dreams, patterns, clouds, even in static on my TV. Not because it was physically there, because it had rooted inside me. That same week, 3 people from the forum went offline. No warnings, no messages, just gone. One user posted, "If I disappear, it wasn't my choice." Screenshot this. That message was deleted within minutes. Then, for the first time, I got a message on my real phone from an unknown number. "Stop. You've seen enough." No name, no call log. It vanished after I opened it. But the damage was done. I knew they were watching me. Not just the visitors, but someone else. Someone who didn't want the truth out. You don't go back to normal after this. You don't unsee what you saw. You don't undo the dreams, the missing time, the triangle in your skin. You don't stop looking at the sky or wondering when they'll come again. Because they do come back. And I know they're still watching me. After the Whisper Network incident, after those users vanished, I started documenting everything. I bought 4 separate journals. I installed motion sensors. I covered my house in cameras. I even wore a body cam while I slept. But here's the terrifying part. They still got in. The cameras would glitch. The timestamps would jump. The body cam once recorded 5 straight hours of static, even though I only remember sleeping 6 hours peacefully. I once woke up with fresh dew on my feet, but my house was locked, windows shut, as if I'd been outside and brought the night back in with me. I tried reaching back out to Simon, the foreman guy. His phone had been disconnected. Emails bounced. His account on the forum? Deleted. But before he vanished, he left me one final message. They don't care if you believe. They care if you understand. That line echoed in my head for weeks. Understand what? Then came the final dream. It was vivid, clearer than anything before. I was floating, not flying, just suspended in a dark, silent space. In front of me, the same triangle hovered, but it wasn't metal. It wasn't a craft. It was alive, organic, like it breathed, pulsed with thought. A voice, not a voice, filled the space around me. The experiment is complete. Then flashes, Earth spinning faster than it should. A map with red dots glowing across the oceans. A human brain split open, glowing with light. A child staring directly into a hovering black sphere. And finally, the symbol, burned into space itself. I woke up choking, eyes wide, nose bleeding. The next day, I went completely offline. Deleted accounts, destroyed electronics, moved cities, changed my name in public databases. But even now, I still feel them. Watching, waiting, measuring. Here's the part one never wanted to admit. I think I was part of something. Not abducted. Used. Tested. Exposed to something we're not meant to see. I don't know if it was a government collaboration or something bigger, older. But I know this. Whatever I saw, it wasn't the first time it's come here. And it won't be the last. So why tell this story? Because someone else out there is going through it. Someone else woke up in the yard. Someone else hears the hum, sees the triangle, dreams and symbols. This is your confirmation. You're not crazy. You're not alone. They've marked more of us than we think. And if they marked you, they'll be back.